rock. If you've neglected your teeth for many years due to fear or apprehension, they can bring your dental health back to where it used to be. Visit 16parkdental.com and book online. WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, and 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. Whipping out free speech. It's the Anthony Cumia Show. 77 WABC.
Welcome, everyone. Good evening to you all. The Anthony Cumia Show. That means it's Sunday. Hope you all are having a fantastic weekend. So much going on in the world. Oh, my goodness. Week goes by and I sit here going, I got to wait till Sunday to talk about this. But last night we had a big story, right? The bombing of the Iranian nuclear facilities. And if you dare try to comment on it anywhere, you will be deemed a puppet of the Zionists and Israel and Netanyahu. Or, on the other hand, you will be a rabid, racist, anti-Semitic piece of garbage. This is, this sure isn't getting our country together, this whole thing. It's not making people kind of shake hands with each other and go, well, we're all American. You see a military act and does that. People go, well, we're all Americans. Let's do this. But in this case, oh boy, because, depending on who you talk to, this is Trump having to do what Israel tells him. Or it's MAGA, patriotic America taking care of a world problem. The prospect of an Iran with nuclear weapons is frightening to the entire globe. So, I don't know. And sometimes the same exact post or the same exact conversation you have, you'll say something. Will get you both of those labels put on you without changing a word. Or you're terrible one way or the other. So first thing, I guess, obviously we're going to be discussing this tonight. We'll take your calls also live. We are live. 800-848-9222. That will get you on our phone lines, and we will discuss what's been going on so you yourself can be called horrible things, terrible things, depending on who's listening. But without immediately right now getting into the politics of the whole thing, the technical aspect of it is pretty cool. People that know me know I'm a nerd. I love aviation. I love science. And what we apparently saw, I don't know, I saw a few holes in a mountain. I'm gonna take it for granted that that's where these bunker buster bombs went through the top of this mountain and into an Iranian nuclear facility and did what they were supposed to do, destroy it. But who knows? Mom always told me, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. And, I see a couple of holes in a mountain. It looks dusty also. The mountain looked a little dusty. So it could possibly have been that the cement from the bunker under the mountain. But that's really all we have to go on. And, Trump and company saying that it was a tremendous success. It was obliterated, which I guess that's good. Obliterated is a good thing. Technically, just talking technically right now. Let's keep your pants on, people. I'm sure we'll get into the political ends of it and some of the hatred that will go hand in hand with the political side of it before the end of this very program this evening. So don't worry, just talking technical. The bombs seem pretty amazing. If you could take a structure, a bomb, and drill it through 300 feet of concrete, I don't even know how the hell that could possibly be done without destroying the bomb itself. But, I've seen some demonstrations. It looks like this is what actually happens. The bomb is constructed in a certain way that it can penetrate a football field length depth of concrete. That is a football field thick concrete. And it will go right through it, and then it will blow up whatever's in there. Somehow the bomb works after going through that much concrete. I don't know. I'm amazed by the technology of the whole thing. But don't fret. We will speak about the tech end of it and the political end of it. Lots going on. A few other things in the news we're going to get to. And your calls, 800-848-9222, when we continue with the Anthony Cumia Show.
Anthony Cumia Show.
Whipping out the First Amendment and holstering the Second.
And again, we're asking, when you cross the line.
Anthony Cumia Show. Sunday evening. And my goodness, if I could say a cluster, F. My volume up a little here. There it is. Yeah, if I could say cluster F, I would. That seems to be what's happening in the world. Whoa! Good God, Joel. Yeah, we kind of dipped our toe, didn't we? We dipped our toe into the Middle East situation. And it has completely divvied up everybody on the right. Are you conservative? Are you right-wing? Are you a Republican? Are you MAGA? All that, it's not one big happy family. It never really was, but boy, nothing like now. We are kind of shattered into a bunch of pieces now over the latest being, of course, the bombing, the American bombing of the Iranian nuclear facilities deep beneath the Earth's crust. So, I was just saying on the little recorded segment that plays before I actually come on live that it divvied everybody up. We don't, I wish we could stick together like the imbeciles on the left. They don't know what they're doing, but boy, are they a cohesive unit, don't you think? They start yapping about something, they will get on book and on point and on program, and they will spit out that nonsense no matter what happens. And, we fall apart. We just fall apart. Too many factions, too many, and I'm not even saying it's not justified. I think that also might come with, I'll throw us a bone as the perceived right wing. I'll throw us a bone here and say, perhaps it's because we're just smarter, less, less of a cult. Some people would laugh at that, but it's usually the left calling the right a cult, and they are completely cult-like. But the ability to influence the left and brainwash them and have them walk like automatons, chanting the same line as they walk down the street with a sign someone handed them. And now it's the most passionate cause they've ever had in their life, you know. Hand them a sign. They go, what's this? Oh, that's abortion. Oh, it's my number one issue. Oh, yeah, how long now? Well, when'd you hand me the sign? Because that's when I started becoming very, very passionate about this topic. So maybe that's it. Maybe we're willing to look and see other sides of an issue. And if you agree with something and then the situations change, you'll change your mind. You don't just have to go down political lines, party lines. You know, the guy, you know, I'm a Trump supporter, but I understand, at least. I can understand why people are a little pissed at him. But like I was saying there at the top of the show, this isn't really off script for Trump. You could find plenty of clips during the campaign of him talking about Iran or Iran, if I want to say it that way. I'll say it both ways. That's how I roll. And you'll find plenty of instances where he said, yeah, Iran should never have a nuclear weapon. They aren't a stable enough nation. They aren't a nation that works and plays well with the Earth, with the planet Earth. You know, there's a few of these out there like that. North Korea is one of them. They have nuclear weapons. I think if they didn't already have nuclear weapons, I think you'd probably be looking at the same thing. A world very leery of North Korea getting nuclear weapons and perhaps acting militarily to prevent that from happening. But, you know, it's hard to put the plutonium back in the toothpaste tube. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a toothpaste tube. So, you know, it's already done. But I'm sure most intelligent world leaders would like to see a North Korea that isn't a nuclear power, but too late. So I think there's a lot of validity to the idea of getting to Iran before they are able to produce nuclear weapons. Now, there's 1,000 things you could say as to whether they were even close to getting nuclear weapons or not. Were they even trying? How do we know all this? You know, I've seen the talking heads on the news of late, and they're trying to really push the Trump administration about, well, the intelligence said this, and it did not really say that they were pursuing nuclear weapons. And first of all, you're a talking head bimbo on some lying mainstream media channel. So I don't know how much of the intelligence briefings you've been in on, but these guys have seen all the information they need. And just common sense, if you look at it, the amount of enriched uranium that they have, and what else could they possibly use it for? Their reason behind manufacturing ballistic missiles that go further, and you know, obviously they're trying. Now again, you could criticize that and say, well, who cares? They're a sovereign nation. They should be allowed to do what they want. No one, except maybe the Germans or the Japanese, were bothered by the fact that we were pursuing nuclear weapons in the late 30s and early 40s. So, what's in our business? And there are nuclear powers around the world that I don't think are very stable. You got India and Pakistan poking at each other constantly, and they apparently both have a lot of nuclear weapons. So is it the stability of the nation? Is it that the nation acts like they're in the Flintstones and they're primitive and have a culture and religion that isn't quite conducive to, again, working and playing well with others? Maybe that's a good reason. I don't know. But you're really pushing it when you tell a sovereign nation what they should or shouldn't be doing. You know, gets a little dicey. Yeah, dicey when it comes to that kind of thing. And then, of course, there's the involvement of Israel. This is, I think, the single issue that has the right divided more than anything else. People feel that Israel is in complete control of this country, and Donald Trump, the administration, presidents before Trump, every aspect of our intelligence agencies, the law, the banks, the this, the that, Hollywood, like that's, there's an amazing amount of people that believe that. And then there's people that don't believe that, and they think, we do what we do. Israel is an ally, and we help each other and work together. And if they're in some kind of a military kerfuffle, if I may be so bold, that we'll step in. But both of those camps are so strong and so unwaveringly opinionated on this that it's made a division that is affecting actual MAGA, Make America Great Again, that whole thing, We're Trump supporters, we believe in America first, and we believe in Make America Great Again. And then, why should that involve getting into some other country's issues and problems? And there's a lot of schools of thought to that. Are we in it because Israel told us to be in it? Or is it in the best interest of the United States of America to make sure Iran does not produce nuclear weapons, regardless of what Israel's doing? Would we have stepped in if we saw that Israel or Iran was exactly where they are as far as their quest for nuclear weapons? Nothing was happening with Israel, but we noticed through intelligence or whatever that Israel was, Iran, was in the exact place they're at right now. Would we have bombed the facility just based on, we don't like that? Or did it have to do with Israel? Did Israel soften the beaches? Taking out air defenses was a good thing. I mean, the B-2 is an amazing weapon. The stealth and the ability to deliver these huge bombs. But it's a lot nicer, ask any pilot, it's a lot nicer to fly into a combat zone when the air defenses are disabled. And that's what Israel has been doing for quite some time now with Iran, a couple of weeks at least, I guess, right? So was it a dual country effort here? And we needed Israel's help to deliver the bombs, and they needed our help because I'm sure if Iran had gotten nuclear weapons, Israel would be in the crosshairs lickety-split, if I may use such bold language. All right, the phones are what they call lit, and we will take your calls when we return in moments to more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
This is the Anthony Cumia Show.
Yep. I thought I had a special deoxys. Okay. Yeah, I haven't fired this radio up in over a year. At least a year. Yeah, well, Monday. I mean, not Monday. Probably tomorrow. I'll start bringing them in. I was gonna bring it over the weekend, but it rained and the alley is wet and it takes forever to dry up, and I don't want to walk with that. And my wife was gonna help me carry them in, and I didn't want to take that chance and something happened to the cabinet. So, but it'll be up soon.
The heck out of spending, but also increase supply. So President
So yeah, so the audio is a little because I had the fan on. I think the attenuator was way up, so it sounds better. It does drift a little bit sometimes, especially with its tuning wheel. It's very loose, so I had to just punch it in. Or sometimes if it drift, I'll just go up and down right here. All right.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
It is the Anthony Cumia Show. Without delay, we will go right to Kevin in the Long Beach. How you doing, Kevin?
Yeah, hey, Ant. Yeah, Midnight Hammer, quite an operation, right?
Yeah, Midnight Hammer, yo.
They used a lot of different delivery systems, though. You know, they used submarines and the B-2 and all of that, and they're only in the Iranian airspace for like 4 or 5 minutes. So
yeah, very quick, in and out, no air defenses. They didn't even see them.
Very strategic. But I think there's a lot of information we're not privy to. You know, something happened. You know, Israel did it first when they went and did that decapitation move and took out all the senior officials.
Right.
But something else is going on. And then Trump, I think, probably got a little angry that they did it. And then they wanted help when they, secondary action there. But, I think there's a lot more going on than we know. You know, we'll find out as time goes on.
Oh, there always is a lot more going on, Kevin. Always. And, we unfortunately are left to the devices of the government telling us what they did. Like, first of all, why would they tell us anything? And then kind of filtering it through the mainstream media, which is a propaganda wing of the left and of the government. In some sense, I think they've kind of lightened up a little bit on some of the subject matter as far as Trump goes, but they're still liars. We really don't have anything. I mean, we saw 3 or 6 holes in a mountaintop, and we're told that it was an incredible success. It was completely destroyed. Now, I understand. I know how these bunker busters work, and there was a lot of cement dust and whatnot covering the mountaintop, so I assume it got down through the cement to some extent, but we really are only left to what they say. There's no other confirmation, like with other bombings, satellite photos, other countries sending pictures and stuff. We really are only dependent on the government to tell us that it was a success. And, of late, we're not very trusting.
Like when they told us there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, right?
Yeah.
These are all the same people cheering this on. It's the neocons, Lindsey Graham, Nikki Haley, all the Fox News, Sean Hannity, they're all pounding their chests, but their kids aren't going over there. You know what I mean?
No,
I'm on a lot of MAGA chat lines, and a lot of them are angry because he promised no boots on the ground, but I don't think it'll come to that. I really don't.
We'll see.
And Israel's caught, and Israel can take it. Go ahead.
We'll see, Kevin. Thanks. Thanks for the call, bro. To jump the gun and just say he said no foreign wars, no new wars, no boots on the ground, and we're not in that. To say we're not in that right now. Well, does that mean we're not going to be? There's a lot of ifs and what ifs with this whole situation. What about retaliation? If this does happen, we have to respond. What if American soldiers are killed at some overseas bases in the Middle East, which are easily targeted and delivered, weapons can be delivered to them from Iran? We will have to do something, obviously. This nuclear facility hit was very, very surgical. It didn't claim the lives of civilians. It wasn't in a city where people are. It wasn't apartment buildings or a hospital. It was what Trump had said he wanted to go after, especially even through his campaign, saying we need to make sure they don't get nuclear weapons. And this could fit that bill, as I said, but does it go further? And then you have to ask, well, what? So we're not supposed to do anything because they might retaliate after? that's not really a good excuse to not use force, because you're afraid of what the other side might do in response to that. If you do that, you can be threatened by anyone, anytime. Well, I don't want to touch him. He might hit me. Sometimes, you got to hit. But let's go to Tommy. Tommy in Brooklyn. What's up, Tommy?
Hey, Ed. Just saying, as a longtime listener, talking to you over terrestrial station is wild. I wasn't around for the ONA days, but this is pretty awesome.
It's insane.
Yeah, so
I love it.
A primary motivation of the 9/11 attacks was America getting involved in the Middle East. In no way am I saying we should just lie down and take anything, but the Trump ticket in MAGA was foundational on being America first, staying out of the Middle East, no foreign wars. On the 2015 trial, I know I'm going back a while, but Trump literally in front of Jeb Bush said, your brother destabilized the Middle East. Right. How does bombing Iran and getting involved in yet another conflict in the Middle East benefit any American? And doesn't this cause more conflicts than solve anything? In your opinion, what would 2016 Trump think of this? Because as of now, it's dividing the MAGA movement. I don't know if you saw with Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz, that spat on X, but it's something to watch. And the whole right is crumbling, and I'm not being over dramatic, but I'm punching out, man. Thank you for your time, and thank you for all the laughs, man.
No problem, Tommy. And I will say, especially, what would the 2015, the first term Trump think? Well, the first term Trump, he had an airstrike in Iran. It was, it was a strike. I think a lot of people are looking at this like we're getting involved in a much wider conflict, which again we might be. I don't know if this will lead to something else, but right now I really don't see that Trump has done anything more than he's done in the past, taking out terrorists, taking out missiles, retaliation for shooting at American bases years ago. This is stuff Trump has done, and every single president has done strikes such as these, and it didn't necessarily mean we were going to war with them. It was just necessary at the time to do this. Now, again, you bring in the Israel factor, and a lot of people start talking about being a puppet to Israel and being under Netanyahu's, spell. And I think that's why so many people have more of a problem with this than they had with so many of these other strikes that a lot of presidents have done in the past. I have a list of them I'll go through when we start talking about some of these politicians like Schiff, of course, and Crockett, AOC, and Pelosi, who are saying that Trump didn't consult with Congress and get approval, and War Powers Act, and which is all nonsense. I mean, they're again lying. But these things had happened before, and there wasn't this issue of what is going on? Why did he do this? Is it going to put us in a deeper what? They talked about it, but not to this extent, and it hadn't fractured what I seem to have seen as a very strong coalition within the right, MAGA, Republican, conservative, but we're kind of seeing that now, that fracturing. So I don't know, but we'll take more of your calls. We'll talk a lot more about this. I want to get into how the media is talking about it, some of the response from Crockett, Pelosi, and AOC. Ugh, the Three Stooges. Stick around. We'll be right back. The Anthony Cumia Show.
Dr. Howard D.C., founder of Balance of Nature and formulator of the...
James, the goldbacks are really interesting. When I made that video almost a year ago now, a couple of people sent me messages saying about the goldbacks. I did not know anything about these goldbacks. And they have different sizes. The ones that I showed on the video, they're 1/1000th. They're 1/1000th of a troy ounce. They do have gold bags that are 1/2500th of an ounce. And they also have gold bags that are thicker. I believe they have one that's 1/500. I have to look, but I really like the gold bags. They're pretty cool, and they have a wallet for it. There's a carrying wallet for it. I'm gonna get the wallet. There's like a wallet you can put them in, and you're stacking. They call it stacking. Stacking. So you can buy those. Of course, I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna buy gold bags. I'm also gonna buy, of course, coins. I like the bars too. The bars, things like that. Nightbot. I was gonna say Nightbot. Nightbot doesn't need to his comment be read. Enter COD. Yeah, silver coins are best for bartering. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't. No, that's a gold foil. The only thing is you gotta be careful handling them though. You don't want to fold them. You don't want to fold them. You want to put them in a wallet, but they have a wallet for that.
For many years, due to fear or apprehension.
But you don't want to fold them, because then they'll you don't want to do a sharp fold. You just want to leave it the way it is and put it in the wallet. I will buy the wallet soon, and I'll make another video on that stuff. All right.
Whipping out free speech.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Yeah, you get out that free speech. Love it. The Anthony Cumia Show. Quite the topic tonight. A lot of people want to talk about it. The phones are full, and we will get to more of your calls. But, of course, every week, my mission to find somebody that fits the bill of Clown of the Week.
The Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
Again, so many of them. Last week, I had four. I had 4 clowns of the week that I had to intersperse through the entire program. So I'm trying not to do that, but it is tough. There are so many clowns. Like I said, Crockett, Pelosi, Schumer, Schiff, just clowns. But this one, I think she's a recurring clown. Our beauty, our little Dem beauty, AOC, that's right. Yes, she says that the media needs to be reined in. Now, I don't know what she means by this. You mean the left wing propaganda mainstream media needs to be reined in? But that's all you. You do that. You tell them the lies. They tell you what to say in your briefings and your press conferences. So a little trouble in paradise, AOC? The media not quite doing what you want? Or is it what I suspect it is? Media isn't just CNN and MSNBC and the lot network news anymore. Media is everything, including, of course, X and other social media platforms where most people these days get their news. Yes, sirree. So I think that's the type of media AOC is saying needs to be reined in. But here she is talking about it. And again, the way she's talking, you would absolutely believe she was on the other team, on the other side, on the right side of the political spectrum. Let's listen to this little honey.
I do think that several members of Congress in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy, because that is a part of what happened here. And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation. It's one thing to have differing opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false. And so that's something that we're looking into.
See, that's the problem. They believe
differing opinions is saying something false. It is disinformation and the lovely misinformation. Yeah. So what is she talking about? It's so hypocritical of them, which of course we've known they've been hypocritical their entire existence, especially people like AOC. That you look at, oh, we love differing opinions. Oh, do you? How come every time a differing opinion is presented to you, you lose your minds? Have you seen these people? Whenever anyone from the media or even the alt media, you get a little guy with his phone and a microphone, and they go to these left-wing protests and they try to speak to these people. Hey, what are you out here for today? That's it. Not even trying to intimidate them or get them riled up. Just, hey, what does your sign say? What are you out here for? Who are you? Screw you. We don't talk to Nazis. All right. I guess you don't want to get your point of view out? You don't want to maybe hear a different opinion about what you're talking about? Show other people how educated you are about the topic you feel that is so important to you that you have to walk the streets with a sign? The second someone comes up to them and asks them, what are you doing? What are you out here for? How do you feel? Really, Trump? Nazi? Why? What has he done? So many things. All right, can I hear one thing? Oh my God, I can't even think. There's so many, I can't even think of one. Well, give me one. It's not my job to come out here and educate you. I've heard that one so many times. So what's your take on this? It's not my job to educate you. Well, it kind of is. It kind of is. If you're grabbing a sign, putting a slogan on it that is contrary to what I believe in, and you want the public to see your take on one of these issues, and I come up to you and go, what are you protesting for? It is your job to educate me on what you're protesting. Maybe even if you feel it isn't your job per se, I would think these people would love to enlighten the people that don't understand their position or have a differing opinion to their position. Wouldn't you just spout it out? Really? You want to know what I'm here for? Wham! And you just go, and the person's left dazed. Got those little cartoon birds flying around their head. But they just get defensive, and they run away because they do not want differing opinions like AOC says. They want what they believe in, and they go to violence if you have a differing opinion. I've seen so many of these guys hit with things. They've been smashed in the face. Their equipment's been broken. They don't want them to photograph them in a public arena. If you're so proud of your cause, why wouldn't you put your face out there? But no, they don't want differing opinions, AOC. And the media, the misinformation and disinformation she's talking about, that is the mainstream media mostly. But alt media has their two teams. I get it. But what were you suggesting? Some type of regulation? We don't like that. I love the way that alt media, whatever, I think that's a passé term at this point, but because it's all of us. We contribute to how people get their news. Everyone. You see something stupid that you know is moronic, it doesn't matter who wrote it. You soak that in and assess that with all the other stuff that you've soaked in from your morning read of various social media, and you put together what you believe is accurate. That's kind of how it all operates. But she don't want that. And I think she's hinting, and good luck with it, that maybe some regulation. They pop up with this every so often. The left. The right really doesn't do it. I mean, they really kind of like the idea that the word gets out, because the more the left says and the more people they say it in front of, the dumber they look. It's without question. And I think that's why they try to curtail their little army of protesters and people from talking. You'll see at these same protests, when you ask them questions, some person that is dubbed an authority figure, you got the orange vest on, they'll come over and pull the people away. Pull the person away. Don't talk to them. Don't talk to them. And leave the guy with the mic standing there going, why are you telling this person they can't speak? You're the one infringing on their freedom of speech. But they're, like I said before, they're such puppets and such automatons and such cult members that they can be told, don't talk to that person. And I think more importantly than don't talk to that person is don't listen to that person. Again, these idiots are very malleable, very easily manipulated. And if they think someone might be making some sense, their head will explode. So maybe it's for their own safety that the leaders of some of these protests drag them away. Matt from the Bronx. Oh, I can't get to it. There's a continue thing up there. You got to click that continue thing back at mission control. There it is. Matt, how you doing, bro?
Hey, Anthony, how are you? That's good. That's good. So basically, with regard to Iran and Israel, I can't agree more with the earlier caller when he said that the neoconservatives have been backing Iran action against Iran even before 9/11. And with that said, I frequently mention it. I think it's even more apropos now. Yeah. The culture of critique by Dr. Kevin McDonald goes into neoconservatism as a leftist movement, by the way. Right. It's just like feminism. It's just like communism. It's a left-wing movement, and it's a heresy against conservative Americans to even follow neoconservatism for two reasons. Number one, it originates on the left, and number two, it is a treasonous movement. Why is that? Why I say that? Because it privileges and prioritizes the national security of a foreign country above the United States. That's Israel. I don't care what country it is. Any ideology that puts the security of a foreign state above the United States is unacceptable.
All right, Matt, can I just ask you, can I ask you a question about what you just said? Is there any scenario where it's like the government, our government, many past administrations have said that you might say that, but it's in America's best interest to be allied with Israel? Is there a scenario where an allyship with Israel is a good thing to you?
Insofar as if there is a genuine bona fide threat to the United States, and you're acting in concert with another country, if there's a bona fide threat, if there's a hegemon in Central Asia, for example, that threatens to take over the continent and then pose a military threat to American interest, yes. But in the sense that before 1948, when Israel was established, the United States did not have a single enemy in that region of the world. Did you know that?
A lot. I'm playing the devil's advocate here. Yeah. Well, that's going back quite some time, and I understand the conception of Israel and stuff, but it pretty much just gives a blanket, here's why America does what it does in the modern age. Like every aspect of everything America has done has been because of this brandy new country from 1948, 49, and everything we've done before that was just silly cowboy Americans walking around. And finally, when Israel, this new nation, was able to put a ring through our nose, we just did their bidding. How does that work? I don't understand how that happened and how it happened so quickly and with a nation that really had no power back that early in the 40s and 50s.
Okay, well, one, in terms of the modern era, the era that we're in now, you're saying that that's somewhat distant. Well, the era that we're in now, and really have been since the 60s or 70s, is the fact that many people in the Congress and in our government are in the pocket of the Israeli lobby.
But was that happening in 1950? Let's go to 1950. Israel's 2 years old at that point. Why were we doing anything without having Israel tell us what to do? Because that seems to be what a lot of people believe America is now. Every move we make is based on Israel telling us to. So what were we doing in the 50s when we weren't paying attention to Israel? And if we still were, even back then, why were we paying attention to this brand new nation that wasn't giving all our politicians money yet and influencing every aspect of American life as we're told they are today?
Well, for one thing, you have to understand that Israel is a country, and vis-a-vis the United States, acts in concert with the Jewish community inside the United States, the organized Jewish community. Not every single Jew that lives in the United States is supportive of Israel, but the ones who are Zionists, the majority of the population who are Zionists, they act in concert with the Israeli lobby.
But I'm talking,
United States.
Matt, you're not. I'm talking back in the 50s. Why would we do that if they really were just this brand new nation that didn't have much power, didn't have much political muscle at that point? Why would we stop being these amazing American cowboys who just, did a great job in World War II and then go, oh, let's just put a ring through our nose and give the leash to this little Middle Eastern new nation, and that's going to be what America is now for the foreseeable future up until, today. Why? And how did that happen in the 50s?
Well, in terms of the 1950s, in terms of that period, Jewish influence in the United States, I'm talking about ethnocentric Jews, Zionist
not
Jews.
Political, not Israel. You're talking the Jews that had come over here, just immigrated here.
They were established for quite some time.
Okay.
You had during World War II. During World War II, for example, you had Jews like Robert Morgenthau. Robert Morgenthau.
Yeah.
No, his father. I'm thinking of the district attorney.
I remember him.
Henry Morgenthau. There you go. Henry Morgenthau, who were advising FDR with regard to the Morgenthau Plan, which wanted to starve Germany because we were insufficiently supportive of saving the Jews from Hitler during World War II. Because you have to remember that during that period, there was actually an embargo having Jewish immigration from Europe.
Right.
Were overrunning much of the.
They weren't really allowed to go anywhere. Yeah.
So you had very influential Jews in the United States who had the ear of many of the politicians, both in the Congress and at the executive level. Now, when Israel was established, that simply accelerated.
Oh, okay. All right. That's. I got you, Matt. I got to move on, but that's all I was wondering about from what you were saying, and I appreciate your call. Yeah, we get into this. We get into a lot of strange areas where people have their beliefs, they have their assumptions, they have their prejudice, they have, this is all part of the bigger picture and the conversation that we're having on this. And again, I've said things that I swear to you, the same exact thing I've said, posted in one spot, has gotten me called a rabid anti-Semite and a Zionist puppet to the Israeli regime. So I think it's helpful to just kind of sort these things out, get people on the phones, talk to them out and about, and bring this subject matter to the forefront and, see what's going on, because a lot of people have a lot of different views. And what I'm seeing now is every single move that the United States makes, whether it's through Congress or the president the judicial system, everything seems to go through this. Are you a Zionist or are you an anti-Semite filter? And that is it. You have two choices. And whatever your ideology is, your opinion on a topic, that, my friend, is going to put you through the filter and spit you out in one side or the other, and never the twain shall meet. And we will be permanently fractured on this. But talking about it, that's what I like, my friends. And we will do more of that in seconds when we continue with the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. Nothing you wear is more important than your smile.
16parkdental.com.
All right, let me read a couple of comments. And everybody, thank you for watching. Let me go up here for a minute. I didn't read a couple of them. James Farley, about 20 years ago, I ran some tubes down to my basement with a water cool system to keep my CPUs cool in my second story. What the? Well, I don't have to go to that extreme. No, I have a server rack. I just play around with old servers, Linux stuff and everything, and that's all. It's nothing like mission critical or anything like that. It's nothing like that.
WABC Radio, its management or its sponsors. Coming up tonight on the Dominic Carter Show.
I gotta go open now sometime because I don't want the YouTube to shut down the stream sometime because but they haven't done it yet so far. So far so good.
Carter 77 WABC.
All right.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
It is indeed the Anthony Cumia Show. And we're taking a lot of calls tonight because the big war, the big battle in Iran has got a lot of people talking, thinking, spouting. And that's what we're all about over here. 800-848-9222. Let's go to Shane in the great state of Vermont. What's up, Shane?
Hey, how's it going? I just can't believe some of these people. Listen, I don't even support Israel at all. In fact, I think we should do practically nothing for them. But I think that this is the one thing we should have done, because all the people that are saying that we shouldn't do this, what's their answer to? It's just rhetoric. It's this, the origins of neoconservatism, or it's like, why are we becoming tribalist against older conservatives?
Yeah, if you're under the mindset that every single thing that America does is because of Israel, then anything we do has to go under that blanket, and you'll never really be able to figure out, well, was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? You just go Israel and screw this, and we shouldn't have done that. Is there a scenario, Shane, where we would have done this without Israel, and just people would have looked at it like, well, yeah, I think we had to do that. We don't want this nation, Iran, that's very unstable, very archaic in their belief system, and very irresponsible to have nuclear weapons. And I think, sure, I can see a scenario like that. But the way things are going now and for the past couple of years, I think a lot of people just see it as, well, obviously we're doing it because of Israel. What do you think?
Well, so 2015 Trump, that was brought up. 2015 Trump was talking about stopping North Korea from getting one. I can't imagine any possible
Real rocket man. We all remember that.
I can't believe that he would be like, okay, let's let Iran get it. And you also asked if we would ever. I don't think we would have needed to stop Iran from a nuclear program if it weren't for Israel. They've talked about 9/11 happened partially because of our involvement with Israel in the Middle East prior to.
See, I don't know about that, though. I see it more like we wouldn't have had to deal with Iran if it wasn't for some of the past administrations. I mean, Obama pretty much handed them the keys to a nuclear facility. Biden didn't help either. I mean, the fact that Obama handed over those pallets of cash and then the nuclear deal where the inspectors would go in, nothing was being inspected. Stop. How did they build that mountain facility even in the time that they were inspecting? They would have had to have started building that. They were being deceptive the whole time, and I think everyone knew that. So I think past administrations have a lot of responsibility in why that had to be done yesterday, but I'm sure everyone can cover it with that Israeli blanket.
Sure. By the way, I just wanted to say I saw Voss on Gutfeld the other night, and somebody needs to tell him it's not October Sabbath.
Oh, no.
It's
What did
October
he say?
7th.
Did he say October Sabbath? He's an idiot. Thanks, Shane. October Sabbath, okay? Let me tell you, people, I'm a Jew. He has tattoos. Isn't that verboten? I hate to use that language. I'm talking about that, but I don't know. I've seen other people say that Israelis, not Israelis, American Jews can get tattoos. They don't really care that much. But let me see. What do we got here? We could probably take one more call before we have to take a quick break. Mr. Ray in Brooklyn, how are you, my friend?
Wow, Anthony, good evening. It's such a pleasure to reach you. Your opening segments are always great. I tried to reach you last week. Bay Ridge Ray here.
Bay Ridge, I lived there, my friend. I was right there by the water.
I know. I'm closer to your age, if not a little older, but I was digging on that last week when you spoke about it. I caught every show since you started with ABC. What I wanted to mention was, aside from swerving away from international, exactly, but why can't the Democrats realize they sound like the mullahs? I mean, especially the head of the Federal Reserve. I mean, how could they diss our president and actually think about impeachment? What is going on? Are they transhuman? Do they ever step back from themselves and hear the way they sound? You know,
I'll tell you, Ray. The Democrat, I can never even look at them seriously. I never listen to what a Democrat says and really consider it. I just look at it as another idiotic, lying, manipulative, propaganda, party line nonsense.
That it is. I get a kick out of your clowns of the week also, because there's many of them. They're never going to stop. And AOC should be reminded that they should, like the veteran senators say, keep your mouth shut. You sound like a friggin' 17-year-old. You know, she's an airhead. I think they programmed her. You know,
Ray, you know what I would love to see? I would love to see AOC where she belongs, behind a bar, give her a drink order where she's got to pull the shaker out and shake it up. Shake that up.
Her and Crockett are just looking to cash in. They're shameless. I wanted to finish off with, because
quickly, if you could, Ray.
I was such a great orator and broadcaster.
Thank you.
I'll let you go. I was good. Good night. All right.
I appreciate it, Ray. Yep, it goes Ray. Yeah, I mean, I don't look at Democrats, politicians especially, and give them any consideration. I think they have, they're too team oriented. I don't consider anything they say as fact. Back in seconds. Don't go anywhere.
The 77 WABC Advanced Site Contractors Chime Time.
Yeah. So if you're ready, you get an S9 plus 15. Okay. Yeah. There's a blowtorch. All down south, I used to get WABC. Only unless Cuba's, otherwise Cuba. I think it's Rebelde or
WLIR Hampton Bays.
Oddly, I can get a 720. That's probably a harmonic.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on this lovely Sunday evening. Hope you are enjoying yourself, and thank you for tuning in. Donald Trump, a very controversial tweet that he put out, because, of course, this whole thing has, I guess, Trump's base pretty divided. pretty divided indeed. A lot of people saying, hey, you promised no more foreign wars. And this looks like a foreign war to us. And then other MAGA supporters are saying, well, this is good. This is what Trump promised. He said in his campaigns before he was elected this term, said that Iran will never get a nuclear weapon. So he's just doing that because it's one of his promises. And then people say it's Israel made him do it. And then others say, no, he promised to do this beforehand, and blah, blah. It just gets out of control. Now, the real sticky wicket here for Trump is, does it escalate? Does this escalate into something bigger, something that does involve America more? That is indeed a war with Iran. Who knows? But this latest tweet he put out, I don't think it's going to bode well with a lot of Trump supporters. I'm a Trump supporter, and it doesn't quite bode well with me. I'd like to hear him explain this one a little more. He just put this out a little while ago, and I quote, "It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again," and he capitalized that and put red background on it on his tweet, "why wouldn't there be a regime change? MIGA, make Iran great again." Boy, this sure does sound like regime change to me, doesn't it? Doesn't that sound like an endorsement for regime change? And I don't know, I guess back during the Cold War, we were knocking out people, replacing them with our people all the time. Regime change was just another part of politics. And then it got kind of a bad taste, left a bad taste in Americans' mouths, because it seemed like we were trying a little too hard to spread democracy. And meanwhile, that's never the actual motive for regime change. We just want them living good. We want them to enjoy democracy like we do, like America does. Oh, is that it? Yeah, I don't quite believe it. Thank you very much. So regime change, not a good thing. And again, if you don't want to be in any foreign wars, why the hell do we want to have any kind of regime change? Why do we care? No skin off our back, as they say. But now Trump tweets this out, and what? What does that mean? Are we regime changing? Is this something we have to do now? More work? Is that what they say? We got a lot of work to do. There's more work to do. Well, we don't want that kind of work. We don't want to be in a war in Iran. We just don't want it. And one bombing mission to take out nuclear sites, and he had said he doesn't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. You could almost sell that as, well, this is exactly what Trump promised during his campaign. But MIGA, MIGA, please. I don't agree with this. I don't care if Iran is great again. I don't care what happens to them or their people. I don't even care what Israel does to them. Have a field day, Israel. Blow them up, kiss them, do whatever the hell you damn well please. But I really don't want America involved over there, past what we did. And even that, obviously there are plenty of questions, but you could almost sell that to Trump supporters, MAGA. Hey, we needed to get rid of these nuclear sites. But, make America great again is the big Trump platform. America first. America. That's what it's all about. To replace the A America with an eye for Iran, that is directly opposed to what Trump's base and MAGA is all about. You out of your mind? I don't know. How do you feel? 800-848-9222. We'll discuss in a bit with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Oh my God, that's funny. Oh my God.
The great David Mamet. What do you see as
VT Radio, I'm also picking it up on an old General Electric 72500A here in my basement. It looks like an old 8 transistor radio, but I think it has a microchip. Oh, cool. It's nice to hear it on an old radio. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think also because, of course, he's not in the studio. He's actually in his home in South Carolina. So I noticed that when he's in the studio here in New York City, it sounds a lot better. But right now he's actually, in his home in South Carolina. So it's kind of like a remote thing. So that's why it sounds a little. I noticed that he sounds a lot better when he's in the studio here in New York City.
Whipping out free speech.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Welcome back. How about that? MIGA? Make Iran great again? Is that? Oh, I don't think we want to do that. I don't think we want to do that. I don't care if Iran is great. I doubt they can be made great. Didn't we try that with Iraq? Didn't we try that? Remember the people of Iraq are going to come up to the American soldiers with flowers and thanking them for the democracy we are bestowing them with. Yeah, it don't work. We know, like, supposedly democracy or a constitutional republic. These are great ways to live your life under these types of governments. I don't think they know this. I don't think they have a clue, and I don't think they really want it. But we always have this idea that we could just pop up these pop-up democracies in the Middle East. They've been living like cavemen for quite some time. I know Tehran looks great. Tehran is a real city. It's got buildings and everything. Before that whole kerfuffle in 1979 with the hostage crisis and before the exile of the Shah of Iran, there was a lot of Western culture in Iran. Girls wore miniskirts, for God's sake. Ooh, yeah. And, after the past 40 some odd years, whatever, it's been 50 years, I don't think they want it. And it certainly isn't our business to try to put it upon them. So this, is it MIGA? If you say Iran, and it's make Iran good again, it's MIGA. If you say Iran, then it's MIGA. Please. Right? Isn't it? Right. Here's Lindsey Graham put out a response to Trump's Make Iran Great Again post, which is, I cannot get behind that. I love Trump. I support him. A lot of people say, a lot of Trump voters and supporters, they have regrets. They wish they never voted. Shut up. The idea of Kamala Harris and that clown Walz running things is frightening. So I have no problems that I voted for Trump. I have no regrets that I voted for Trump. He's got a 4-year term. That's what it is. I think he's doing very well. There are some things I don't agree with at all. Others I completely agree with. And then some other issues that fall in the middle somewhere. I do not like this Make Iran Great Again. I think it was a terrible post. A terrible post on the heels of going in and taking care of business with the nuclear facilities, because that was controversial enough, even though I agree with it. Because I think if we would have left it all alone in time, yeah, they probably would have a nuke. But under a Trump administration, yeah, I could see that being, yeah, that's good. But with everyone bitching and complaining that it's going to be another war, and why would he want to do? Is it going to be regime change? And then you put out something, Make Iran Great Again. That gets a little where you're like, this is not what we voted for. Again, I support the man. Love Trump. I think he's hilarious. He's a great president. But he does things sometimes that are a little boneheaded. And Lindsey Graham, I had the pleasure of moving down to South Carolina from New York City. And with everything going on in New York, I got to tell you, I couldn't be happier. Pleased as punch, as some say. But the thought that Lindsey Graham is my representative down here is embarrassing. Embarrassing. He jumped right on the Make Iran Great Again thing, answering Trump's tweet. He said, as usual, President Trump is spot on with his desire to make Iran great again by changing the regime either through their behavior or new leadership. As President Trump suggested, who in their right mind would want this regime to continue the status quo, attacking their neighbors, oppressing their people, and being the largest state sponsor of terrorism on the planet? If you like that, you're a sick puppy. Whoa, Lindsay, language. Sick puppy. Count me in for any way possible to make Iran great again by making it decent again. MIGA. Any way possible? Is this the way an American politician should be talking about making Iran great again by any way possible? You know what that includes? Yeah. American soldiers marching on Iranian soil getting killed because Lindsey Graham wants to make Iran great again? Bastard. I hate this guy. He'll keep winning, though. Like Schumer keeps winning up in New York, Graham keeps winning down here in South Kakalaki because people are stupid. Because people are stupid. No matter where you go, there you are, and people are stupid. Oh, I would love to see this guy get primaried. Never. Never. He's too beholden to too many people of power and wealth and whatnot. Jeez. It is crazy. So there are a couple of more great politicians and, of course, the news. And what they're telling you at this point is that Trump and company has thrown away the Constitution. How many times during Trump's administration so far have the Democrats dubbed him having thrown away the Constitution, stepped on it? I use it as toilet paper. When I'm out of paper, I'm my golden toilet. That's what they make of Donald Trump, that he throws away the Constitution. There's a couple of clips here. Here's the lovely and talented Jasmine Crockett talking about how it's unconstitutional that Trump did not inform Congress before declaring war, I guess is how they feel what he's done. An airstrike on Iran. Let's listen to Jasmine. Oh, you don't have the Jasmine Crockett bit? Oh, what happened there? Let me see. Thought I sent that one. Well, then I'll read the Pelosi bit because it's pretty much the same thing. Tonight, the president ignored the Constitution, ignored it, by unilaterally engaging our military without congressional authorization. I join my colleagues. Well, who are your colleagues, Nancy? Drunks at the local gin mill? Those are her colleagues. People that get insider information at the stock market to make gazillions of dollars after having information you're privy to? Are those your colleagues? I join my colleagues in demanding answers from the administration on this operation, which endangers American lives and risks further escalation and dangerous destabilization of the region. Well, this, and Crockett said the same thing, only she added in a few y'alls. And but it's this thought that because Trump made these airstrikes in Iran, that somehow he thwarted the Constitution by not informing Congress beforehand. Well, there are many laws. I see people tell me don't hit the bottom of the mic stand, and I do it. I got to keep my hand away. I'm listening. I listen to you people. There isn't a rule, a law that says that the president can't, on his own accord, as commander-in-chief of the military, take military action. He has to inform Congress within 48 hours of whatever military action he's doing, which he absolutely did. He got in front of the American people after it happened, and I assume Congress was watching. And this is totally legitimate, totally legal. There are many instances. Reagan, yes, Operation El Dorado Canyon. Those were my Libya strikes. Remember back in the day? Reagan would do that. No declaration of war. George H.W. Bush, Operation Desert Storm. The Iraq invasion was a UN resolution. No formal war declaration. So even that, for how huge that was, it didn't fall under that. Bill Clinton, Operation Deliberate Force. That's enough force to... Yeah, we get it. Scar, the whole thing. And the Bosnian airstrikes, you would have thought the United States was at war with Bosnia. And then the Kosovo airstrikes, Bill Clinton in '99, Operation Allied Force. Somalia, you might recall that debacle. It's a great movie. Black Hawk Down. 2001, George W. Bush, invasion of Afghanistan. That sure looked like a war to me, but it didn't. It fell under the AUMF. AUMF, get over here. But no declaration of war. 2003, George W. Bush, initial Iraqi airstrikes, part of the broader invasion. Barack Obama, Operation Odyssey Dawn. We got, what do we have? Midnight Hammer. Trump has Operation Midnight Hammer. And Clinton or Obama's Operation Odyssey Dawn. This is a beautiful operation. Picture Odyssey in dawn, the rising light of the sun. Yeah. Donald Trump, Syrian airstrikes, response to chemical attacks, 2017 and 18. And then Sleepy Joe, 2024, Joe Biden strikes against the Houthi rebels and Yemen airstrikes that went on many, many times in 2004 during his entire administration. So when these idiots get out there and talk about how he needed to have some congressional approval, get out of here. It's the only reason, by the way, that there wasn't a leak. These people didn't know. The Democrats didn't know, and they got blabbermouths. And this went off without a hitch, and no one knew it was happening because these Democrat idiots and even Republicans in Congress were not told this was happening. So plug the leaks, and maybe you'll be privy to the info next time. Back in a flash with more Anthony Cumia Show.
This is the Anthony Cumia Show.
George Norman, I was reading the article about that, and I see here that he was sentenced to 8 years in prison for dangerous driving offenses, and was ordered to be deported to India. 8 years is a joke. That's nuts. For mowing, what the? But then again, it's insane. When I watch those crime dramas, not crime dramas, the police stuff, and some of it's from Canada, I'm amazed at their sentences. It's ridiculous. 25 years to life, but must serve 20 years before eligible for parole. Must serve 15 years before. I mean, like, these sentences are so lenient. It's insane. Yeah, it really is. All right.
This is the Anthony Cumia Show.
Welcome back to the Anthony Cumia Show. I was reminded, everyone's all peeved at Donald Trump for ridding the country of illegal aliens, people that are not American citizens, regardless of what people say. They're deporting American citizens. Show me one. Show me one American citizen being deported. Again, more lies. Barack Hussein Obama, he blew up an American citizen. There was an airstrike on an American citizen overseas. So there's that. But for some reason, whatever we do, whatever Trump does, the administration is against the Constitution. There's a great segment. I'm tapping the mic again. Stop it. I'm going to tie my hands to the chair. Just going to handcuff myself to the chair. Another little segment we like here called Fake News. It's all fake.
Now,
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
it's the fake news.
Fake stories.
News moment.
Fake stories. I love that line. The fake news, it's because Adam Schiff was on the news, which instantly makes it fake news. The guy is incapable of telling the truth. He is only about the propaganda that is rife in his party and the media that backs his party. So here's Schiff. He's just crapping on the airstrike in Iran, the nuclear facility. And, you can tell. I don't have to tell anybody. I don't have to convince anybody. The only reason he's doing this is purely political. If for some reason Sleepy Joe Biden had decided, or whoever was running the strings in the auto pen, that the Iranian nuclear facility needed to be bombed, the same thing could have happened. And Adam Schiff would have been the cheerleader, the little, short, fat, ugly cheerleader. And he'd have loved this. But it's Trump, so for pure political reasons, this again is unconstitutional and terrible. Let's listen to little, tiny, fat Adam Schiff.
First of all, Casey, I want to express my gratitude that the pilots are all out safely and acknowledge the skill, the bravery, and the professionalism of all the military forces that were engaged in this military operation. But it's not an operation that should have ever been authorized by the president in the absence of intelligence showing that Iran had made the decision to break out and build a bomb. The intelligence I've seen, and it's been limited, indicates that Iran had certainly enriched uranium but had not made the decision to build a bomb or pursue the mechanism of a bomb. And in the absence of that, this is not a strike that should have been ordered. In watching Hegseth during that press conference this morning, we saw a lot of arrogance from the defense secretary. And as wars in the Middle East have demonstrated, arrogance is a deadly commodity. We simply don't know what is going to occur now, whether Iran will retaliate, whether Iran was able to evacuate some of the enriched material from Fordo. There were commercial satellite images of trucks lined up at Fordo and leaving Fordo in the days preceding the strike. So a lot of questions, including the risk to American service members. In terms of, is there anything positive to come out of it? Yes, I mean, the destruction of these facilities is a positive in the sense that it will set back Iran's program. And look, this is a nefarious regime that is the preeminent state sponsor of terror. It should have never been pursuing a nuclear program. But it is very possible, and I think we have to anticipate, Iran now kicks out any inspectors. It leaves the non-proliferation treaty. And if it wasn't in a sprint for a bomb, it is now going to engage in a sprint for the bomb. So a lot of uncertainty.
All right, you could cut him off there. It's just amazing. He can't even give him the compliment, even though, you know, they love it. They love bombings. Anything to do with bombing someone. Oh, the Democrats love it. And arrogance, it shows an arrogance in the Middle East, an arrogance of, what would you call the Afghan pullout under Joe Biden? There was a little arrogance there, wasn't there? And we had 13 service members killed. A complete, all the equipment you need for a modern army was left over there by Joe Biden. Did Adam Schiff say anything about that? Did we ever hear from Adam Schiff about the debacle that was the Afghan pullout? Nothing. Nothing. All they did was criticize the Republicans and Trump for saying that it was a mess. How about that? Nothing? Nothing, Adam? Just purely political. That's all they know. They could see something miraculous happen under a Republican administration. I won't even say Trump. And they will never give it the credit it's due. It will just be a problem, something that shouldn't have been done, something that needs to be reversed, because it's all come down to what can we put in the next election's political ads to make the other side look bad. It's not even about the benefit of the country and the American people anymore. If it ever was, I think I remember a time where at least they faked it. At least they faked it. Now, what do we get? We get lies. We get political cheerleaders, and nothing gets accomplished. And if it does, the other side just tries to reverse it. We've seen it, all the judges trying to reverse everything Trump's done, just because they don't want Trump to succeed or the country to succeed under the opposing administration. It's disgusting. We'll be right back in moments with more of the Anthony Cumia Show. Don't go anywhere.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war.
All right. George Norman. This is Canada Pathetic. Let's not use any ethnic slurs or whatever on the chat, please. But I'm gonna leave that alone. But I understand you're angry and all that. That's fine. And I listen. I was looking at a video on TikTok,
If you're a smoker,
earlier today, and they had a picture of the French national soccer team. I think it was 20 years ago. Of course, they were all French. Of course, they were mostly Caucasian. And they show the French national team now, and of course, they're all from Africa. You know, this is going on all over. This is Europe too, by the way. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here with the immigration thing. We're trying to keep it under control. Of course, people want to say otherwise. So I know Canada has an immigration problem themselves.
Tri-state area. Call now.
Yeah, but let's not use any names here. All right, George, thank you. Yeah, so I mean, it's happening everywhere, and a lot of it is because of liberals. Liberals, I'm gonna say everything they touch, they ruin.
Serving all 5 boroughs and the tri-state area. They deliver
George Norman, Canada's cricket team is looking good. Yeah, cricket. Yeah, cricket. Over here we have they started professional league of cricket. I know they just started one here in the United States. I watch cricket every so often. So, all right, back to
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
They were doing what they were paid to do.
Yes, the Anthony Cumia Show. Let's go right to the phones. Joaquin in the great state of Pennsylvania. What's up?
Hey, Anthony.
Hey.
Good Sunday to you.
Thank you.
So
sir.
anyway, you know something? When that guy said October Sabbath, actually, I mean, it did occur on a Sabbath. It was a Saturday, and it was also a Jewish holiday. So,
was it?
Yeah. Actually, I heard Charlie Kirk debating somebody on the whole thing about
Well,
and why.
I just naturally defaulted that Rich Voss was being an idiot.
That's okay, because you know what? There are a lot of idiots, and unfortunately, we have to really consider, survival of our American society. And you know something, another way I know that Trump made the right decision is because it's completely pissing off the Democrats. And for some reason, and you really look at it, everything that they do is against the sovereignty of this nation. That really right now, to see what's going on in our country, we have to start to understand that there's a globalist agenda that wants to surrender our sovereignty in this country, to the globalist agenda, and they don't care about America first. And I agree with you, Lindsey Graham makes me nervous, but I think that there's no war that Lindsey Graham doesn't love, But in this particular situation, why would we even want to take the chance on Iran getting a nuclear weapon? And not to mention the fact that, God forbid, things go bad in the midterms or even worse, we get a Democrat as president in 2028. What did they do before? They gave them pallets of cash. They enabled them. Basically, they were writing the check to give them a nuclear bomb. And
that's a great point, Joaquin, because it always seems like when the Democrats get into office and get power, if it's the presidency, if it's both houses and the presidency, they make such a mess that it just takes so much energy and time to clean it up that it's very difficult to do anything else. I mean, the border, look at what we're doing at the border. And then the Democrats bitch about what needs to be done to get the illegals out, close the border up, and try our hardest to get back to some normalcy as far as the border is concerned. And they fight it every step of the way, and they're the ones responsible for us having to clean it up.
Now think about this. One reason why we have a really big problem with blue cities, I would imagine if we got rid of a lot of these illegal immigrants, and you cannot say that they're not voting in at least local elections.
Oh, hell yeah.
Not to mention the fact that, they're padding, the congressional districts for these blue states and blue cities. And I saw a funny thing actually on Facebook. Somebody put a picture of a car up that said, why isn't ICE, going into red states? And, I thought that would be a really fantastic idea. Why doesn't ICE go into red states and start cleaning up the blue cities in red states like in Texas and Florida and other places? and really make those states red.
Well, you know, they love bringing that up, especially where crime is concerned. You'll hear people go, look at the red states where crime is higher than these blue states. And you go, well, look at every major city in these red states. They're all run by Democrats who aren't tough on crime. They have this bail reform where they're letting everybody go. And that's why the state itself is considered a red state that is rife with crime. But yeah, clean those blue cities up. Ooh, it'd be beautiful. Because New York is basically a red state. So is California. If you take away LA and the Bay Area and whatnot, there's a lot of Republicans in those states. But the cities are so deep blue. And if those were cleaned up, paradise.
You know, and also too, you know, the other thing is Matt keeps saying, his stuff, and unfortunately, you know what's going to happen if we desert Israel, and they allow the Palestinians, the quote unquote, which they've had in Gaza. But let's face it, those territories, Israel is a sovereign nation, and it was created when we won World War I, British territories. They created Israel. And there were plenty of opportunities where there were green lines, there were specific boundaries, made for the Palestinian people. And every single time, they crossed the line. And then you had the wars in 47 or 48 and 67, where finally, the Israelis, they defeated their Arab enemies, the Egyptians, Jordanians, I forgot who else that attacked them. And finally, under natural and international law at that time, Israel owned those territories. Mm-hmm. And they made their best to try and live in peace. But when you look at Hamas's charter, and let's face it, the history of the world is one of those who conquer and those who get conquered. And unfortunately, there's aspects of Islam that really want to, take over the world. And look at what's happening in Europe now. These European nations now are being overrun. And, they want, even here we have that city in Texas that wants to bring Sharia law. And you go through the history books, the stories of all these places, and you see what happens. And quite frankly, as far as Iran is concerned, it is interesting. I was doing some reading, and the Iranian Revolution of '79. It is interesting that the Iranian people pretty much got what they wanted, but they got more than they bargained for. I think. I don't think they actually.
Maybe that's it. I never understood seeing what the Shah was a piece of garbage too. I mean, that whole royalty thing, and the people weren't treated very well. But the idea that they could want rule under the Ayatollah and going into this caveman, it's a caveman state, was a little weird to me. And again, I don't understand them. They don't understand us for the most part. But I can't imagine people would rather have lived under Sharia law than how they were under the Shah.
Right. And also, too, I actually do sometimes wonder why exactly did we go and, destabilize Iraq? Because, Iraq actually is a multicultural country, actually even religions. And Saddam Hussein being a Baptist or whatever it was, that he was in control, and actually kept the Muslim population.
Oh, he didn't like Muslims. A lot of people are under the false impression that Iraq was a Muslim country. No, he was a Baptist. And I don't know. What do you think? Have you given thought to why the hell would he have gone into Kuwait like that? That was the perfect opportunity for the entire world to kick his ass. Was that a work?
Something I've always pondered that question myself, because it makes no sense. Because something, Iraq and Iran were natural enemies.
Yeah.
And so if we got a problem with Iran, why did we want to take out the natural enemy that was Iraq? And also considering the march that certain sects, I don't want to sound like an Islamophobe, but there's certain sects of Islam, and this has been through history. They go out and they conquer. I mean, look at Turkey. Look at what they did to the Armenian genocide. Those were actually Christians in that area, and they were taken out and they were massacred and they were slaughtered. And the ones that survived actually were forced to convert to Islam or were made slaves.
You'd be very hard-pressed to not find many instances where Islam has done terrible things to other people, other religions, other people around the world. Thank you, Joaquin. Yeah, I don't know. That did seem a little weird. Like Saddam Hussein he had his country, Iraq. He had quite the hold on it. He would trip up, and every so often someone would lob some missiles in on him or what have you. But as long as he was Iran's enemy, he was kind of our friend. Why would you then go, oh, I'm going to take everything that I built and gamble it all on Kuwait? They have their own oil. What does Kuwait have? And that was like the go-ahead for the entire world to go, yeah, let's just go in there and get Saddam Hussein out of power. Weird. But that would seem to be a pretty hard thing to pull off if it wasn't him. Like we figured out a way to fake that Iraq went into Kuwait. Interesting concept. Vice President Vance, a very vocal guy. He's not one to take a back seat like many vice presidents have over the course of the years. It's a ceremonial spot for a lot of administrations. They just cut ribbons for a new bridge or entertain some second-rate dignitary. But Vance is out there. I think he knows he's got to be out there because this is Trump's last term, and he's kind of the guy. So he's got to be visible to the American people. So he had some comments on the surgical strikes on the Iranian nuclear facilities and the idea that, the Iranians might possibly respond to this. And what would we then be forced to do? Let's listen to Vice President Vance.
What we're prepared for is if they attack us in a maximal direction, first of all, we've got maximum defensive posture. I think that we're going to be able to defend as many of our people as possible. And of course, I'd encourage Americans to pray for our guys in the Middle East because, yes, they are under a significant amount of duress and a significant amount of threat right now. But then, of course, John, if the Iranians attack us, they're going to be met with overwhelming force. And I don't think the president could be clear about this. If you look at what we did yesterday, John, we did not attack the nation of Iran. We did not attack any civilian targets. We didn't even attack military targets outside of the 3 nuclear weapons facilities that we thought were important to accomplish our goal of preventing Iran from having a nuclear weapon. So how Iran responds, I think, is ultimately the ball is in their court. But if you look at what we did, it was very precise, very narrowly tailored to our objective. And if the Iranians decide to expand this, then that's ultimately their decision, and the President of the United States will respond in kind.
Okay. You do a little easy reading between the lines here. He made a point of saying that these were extremely surgical strikes. There was a mission, take out this nuclear facility. And it was done with the right munitions, with the right aircraft and people, and no innocent people, no citizens, and no structures that weren't this one target were affected. And he made a point of saying that and then goes, no, now let's see how Iran responds to our amazingly surgical and harmless on anyone else in Iran. We didn't attack Iranians. We did. He's really prefacing what he said with, if you respond, you better figure out a way to just blow up some machine somewhere. Oh, there's an American windmill. Let's blow it up and don't kill any people. Don't hurt any infrastructure that isn't part of that military facility. So they're leaving, as Americans, and Vance here speaking, and the Trump administration are leaving this in a way where it's like, look, we did this, but it was done in such an amazingly humanitarian way that if you do anything that affects American soldiers or American people, then we can respond with great force. But if you just want to blow up a water pump somewhere, U.S. military water pump, then feel free. We'll go, well, they definitely, we deserved that. We blew up a nuclear facility. We deserved having one of our little water pumps blown up. But if American soldiers are killed and or injured, that's left wide open there. And I don't know. It seems like the Iranians are going what they called balls out. So we said back in the day, balls out, where you just, whatever happens, happens. I'm going full speed ahead here. Israel doesn't seem to want to pull back on the reins. I think they're doing what they did in Gaza with Iran. Just keep hitting them till they give up. And we were able to slip in there and damage or destroy these nuclear sites. And where does that leave everything? Does Iran realize the futility of responding by hurting Americans? And do they understand that that would cost them greatly? Or do they go, this is who we are, Allahu Akbar, and go crazy? And, who cares? We're out for blood. So I guess we'll probably see that within the next few days. I can't imagine Iraq wants to keep getting pounded by Israel and not utilize all of their weaponry. But if they choose America, whether you agree with it or not, there's going to be hell to pay there. And then it's not so much, well, stay out of foreign wars. Why are we doing this? Trump said, because then it's, well, Americans are killed. We didn't kill any of them. We just hit a facility. But they killed Americans. And that pretty much, over the course of history anyway, has given America carte blanche to just destroy. And Americans have kind of liked that in a weird way. Maybe liked isn't the right word, but understood it, and we've gotten behind it. We're in a different place now where every single military action isn't embraced by the American people like it used to be. And I think it, full circle from to the beginning of the show, I think it has a lot to do with Israel and this mindset in a large portion, larger than I think people would like to think, of Americans that feel that the United States is under some kind of power from Israel and is doing Israel's bidding. And that's why people aren't so quick to celebrate an American, what's perceived as a victory with these bombs. Who knows what the effect was? But hey, the guys got back in the beautiful B-2 bombers. Mission seemed to go off without a hitch. And normally Americans in general would be pretty proud of that and pretty flag waving. But I think it's this whole thing that's going on now where it doesn't matter what America does. It doesn't matter if it was good or it wasn't, or it was successful, or how the administration was behind us. And it's just, oh, we did that because of Israel? Well, screw that. I'm not waving the American flag. I'm America first. But I'm not waving the flag because I don't think this was America first. So we're in this weird, fractured kind of environment with the American people. And again, the left, boy, they sure know how to stick together. They stick together like glue. They get their marching orders. They don't criticize each other or anything. Republicans, boy, the second we get a little group together, we just start taking swings at each other. It's crazy. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I can't imagine Iran won't respond. They have to even look, maybe to save face. They did that a few times. Remember a few years back They tried to save face by bombing something, people that weren't there, some missile sites. And then it turned out it's like, all right, we kind of dropped some bombs on them. They fired something back, and then it all calmed down. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do that or go what I call the balls out. We'll see. We'll see. You know, we're just citizens, Americans watching this unfold with absolutely no accurate news on what is happening. I don't care how many people believe they are Middle East experts, because they were, Ukrainian experts last year. They become hurricane experts when that happens, all with the flick of a thumb on their phone. Everyone's an expert. So I don't care what anyone's saying. We really don't know what's beneath those 6 holes in a mountain in Iran and what the true motivation of these maneuvers are. So hopefully we see. Hopefully it doesn't take 50, 60 years. I'd like to know what it is. And, we'll come back. More of your calls and more of the Anthony Cumia Show in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
All right, Doug, yeah. You bought it already, okay. Like I said, I'm looking to get one too, a Nano VNA, because I know the prices went down on that, so I do want to get one. Antenna analyzer, that would be nice to have. Let's see, let me keep track.
Around the federal building.
And also, the Quangshan, I should get it tomorrow. They reached out to me and asked me if I want to review it. I said, yeah, absolutely. So right now it's in Louisville, UPS. I checked it earlier. It should be here tomorrow. TK11, it looks like an interesting radio. I spoke to Radsa about the RT860, which is similar. But of course, they've been giving me the runaround for the last few weeks. So Quangshan just came forward and asked me if I want to review it. I said, absolutely. So, it should be here tomorrow, hopefully. I'll do an unboxing video as soon as I get it, and then I'll use it and make a review on it. Yeah, it is a very interesting radio. $50 on AliExpress.
Whipping out free speech. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Let's take your calls, 800-848-9222. The lovely Susan from upstate New York. Susan, what is going on this Sunday evening?
Well, I always like your openings always kind of get me started, and I love that.
Open big, Susan. You got to open big and close big. That's showbiz.
Oh,
anyway.
Well, you know what? I think you are showbiz. I think you definitely have some substance, and I like your vibe.
Thank you, Susan.
But you started out, and you said something about your mom, some of her wisdom, which she said half of what you believe, half of what you see, and half of what you hear.
No, none of what you hear. It's half of what you see and none of what you hear.
Oh.
All you hear is BS. And even when you see something, only half of it is true. It means there's a lot of crap going on out there, Susan.
Oh, I love that because I got it mixed up. Half of,
yeah.
So what was it? Half of what you see and none of what you hear.
Right. So let's just say a cop is standing in front of you with his pen and he's moving it back and forth in front of your eyes. Believe half of that. And then when he says you're under arrest for DUI, don't believe any of that. That's all I'm trying to say, Susan.
Don't have to worry about that one. But, and I think, just like to frame that whole thing is how we all feel right now.
Yes.
We just don't know what we don't know because we've been lied to so much.
That's exactly it. We don't know what we don't know. Words of wisdom.
No, but listen, remember when, Biden's had that letter from 40 of our intelligence agents signed that there was no such thing as the Hunter Biden laptop and that was Russian information?
Yeah.
Was that a lie?
A bunch of intelligence people, the FBI, all of them, and it turned out to be absolutely a lie. That's what they do, and I think it's destroyed any confidence we could possibly have in our government and the media, so that when things happen, we all now look at it with kind of a, really, did it happen that way? Or didn't it? I just saw six holes in a mountain in Iran, and I'm told an entire nuclear facility was completely destroyed, and they are incapable now of enriching uranium and constructing nuclear weapons. But I saw a picture, and I saw another one with 6 holes, and why am I giving anyone the benefit of the doubt in thinking they told me the truth?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the bottom line.
Here's the thing, children.
That, President Trump, he had to look at the upside potential and the downside risk of this information. So he's looking at Tulsi Gabbard saying there's no proof that Iran is even involved now or has been for a decade. Now, we know that's not true because Obama gave them the payouts of cash, and there's evidence that they have been
we know that
doing this. But she said there was nothing. And then we had Radcliffe saying, no, that's not true. So President Trump had to weigh out the upside potential or the downside risk of not acting. And when we have an enemy, a known enemy, we can go back and look at the things that Iran has done.
Plenty of nefarious deeds over the course of the years, Susan. We all know that. We all know that.
So why should we say, no, this isn't speculation. This is proof that these mullahs are, that they have done and they keep saying that they will do. So he has to take action.
I get you, Susan. Let's just
risk of blowing up everybody.
I got you. Let's just leave on this. They're a bunch of Mueller effers, aren't they? Thank you, Susan. Thank you. She'll go away and tell that to her friends at the bar. Susan. Hey, lover. Oh, my God. So the Iranian parliament voted. So they still do things like that? They vote on things? To close off the Strait of Hormuz. This has been, the Straits of Hormuz have just been a nightmare over the course of the years. There's this little tiny bend in the water that needs to be open all the time. Like everything goes through that. Open it up. Chop off some countries over there and make it bigger. So their latest thing is that they are going to close down the Straits of Hormuz, and who knows what that'll lead to. That could be one of the repercussions for this. But now you're screwing with the entire world. The entire globe utilizes the Straits of Hormuz for oil and other goods. So we'll see how they do as far as that goes. And how are you going to enforce that? A naval blockade with your little speedboats? They'll be gone in a second. So I don't think they have the muscle. We got to hit them when we still have the muscle. Back in a minute.
The 77 WABC's Staten Island law firm of Julia and Gentili John Time.
Yeah, I see right in 1972. Yeah, it is interesting. I like that Redicus radio that you posted the other day. Now that's a nice little radio.
.com. This is New York.
I like that little pocket radio, that Redicus.
Jewel of talk radio. WABC New York, WRCR
Pretty cool.
And 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. News first at 59 past the hour.
77 WABC News starts now.
77 WABC News, 59 past the hour. It's 86 and clear.
All right. 86. Wow, it's hot. I mean, so far it's cool down here. I'm in the basement, so I had the AC on earlier. It's comfortable. It's okay right now. So
nuclear facilities.
I'm gonna go upstairs for a minute. I'm gonna let the news play, and then I need to get something to eat.
Capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
Trump said the bully of the Middle East must now make peace. The attack came after Israel and Iran have been trading airstrikes for over a week. Earlier in this past week, Trump had said he would decide within 2 weeks if the United States would get directly involved in the conflict. A majority of the GOP are lining up in support of President Trump's strikes against Iran. Arkansas Republican Senator Tom Cotton backs the move.
It was Donald Trump who sent our men and women tonight to once and for all destroy Iran's deep underground bunkers to bring an end to their nuclear weapons program.
Cotton warned Iran not to retaliate against America. At least one Republican is not on board with the strike. Congressman Thomas Massey of Kentucky posted this is not constitutional. Congresswoman Nancy Mace from North Carolina, meanwhile, said Trump is the greatest president in American history. And Pennsylvania Democratic Senator John Fetterman posted it was the right move by Trump. A Columbia University graduate student and pro-Palestinian activist released from ICE detention center is speaking out.
Just the fact that I am here is just a message. The fact that all these attempts to suppress pro-Palestine voices have failed now. So this is the message.
Mahmoud Khalil arrived at Newark International Airport on Saturday, one day after he was released from a detention center in Louisiana following a federal judge's order. Khalil spoke to reporters. He was joined by his wife and New York rep AOC. Khalil, who helped organize protests on the Columbia University campus, was arrested by ICE agents in March here in the city. The Trump administration has filed a notice of appeal against the judge's ruling that released Khalil. This summer is starting off with a scorcher. Lisa Ritchie has more.
State officials are urging New Yorkers to be cautious as extreme heat sets in. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is urging everyone to keep their cool.
Stay indoors. You'll get back on your normal schedules. Life will return, but this is a critically important week to be smart for you and your families.
Temperatures will intensify Sunday with real field temperatures reaching up to or even above 100 degrees through Thursday. I'm Lisa Ritchie for 77 WABC News.
The University of Wisconsin is suing the University of Miami for allegedly breaking rules that restrict tampering with college athletes. Rob Martier reports.
The lawsuit marks a groundbreaking legal attempt to enforce a financial contract between an athlete and their school. According to the complaint, Miami officials approached student-athlete A and his family last December with a monetary offer to leave Wisconsin. The player had reportedly signed a 2-year deal with the university. Wisconsin says the lawsuit aims to promote the integrity of college athletics for legal accountability. I'm Rob Martier.
Democrats are making their last-minute pitches to voters in the mayoral primary here in the city. This weekend, several candidates spoke to black voters at Reverend Al Sharpton's National Action Network.
And now his biggest donor by far, Andrew Cuomo, to his super PAC to the tune of $8.3 million, is the architect of stop and frisk, Mike Bloomberg. Andrew Cuomo is not the candidate of civil rights. Andrew Cuomo is the candidate of the enemies of civil rights.
That was City Comptroller and candidate Brad Lander going after former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who has been leading in many of the polls. The primary is this Tuesday, and we'll see some sweltering heat with temperatures set to reach triple digits. California Senator Alex Padilla slamming Vice President J.D. Vance for referring to him as Jose.
He's the Vice President of the United States. You think he'd take the situation in Los Angeles more seriously?
Padilla drew attention when he was put in handcuffs and forcibly removed from the Department of Homeland Security Chair Kristi Noem's press conference. During a conference in L.A. on Friday, Vance called the senator Jose Padilla and accused him of trying to create theater at that press conference. Padilla said that Vance knows his name, and it's just an indicator of how petty and unserious the administration is. Jose Padilla is the name of a convicted American terrorist with ties to Al-Qaeda. With the Independence Day holiday falling on a Friday this year, a record-breaking number of Americans will be taking vacations.
A record 72.2 million Americans will travel for Independence Day week. Car travel should be up 2.2%, topping 61.6 million passengers. Domestic airfare averages $810, and AAA says the cruise business is surging now, especially in Alaska. Orlando, Seattle, and New York are the top destinations over the 4th of July. I'm Rory O'Neill.
Now your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Desk. Overnight, it's going to be clear skies with a low of 80. Tomorrow, sunny skies with a high of 97. And looking ahead to Tuesday, going to be a real scorcher. It's going to be sunny with a high of 101. 86 and clear outside our Midtown studios. Anthony Cumia continues next. I'm Liz Radabali. Remember, the news, it never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Here at 77 WABC, we've got the best lineup in talk radio, and we've got 104 years of experience.
Kind of bizarre. Great news for you. This is all they've got. Keeping you informed.
Under the microscope.
Consistent and persistent. Tell us the truth.
We've got the #1 Nielsen-rated news talk radio morning show.
Sid and Friends in the morning. That's me.
Plus the best music on the weekends with Brucey, Orlando, Biscopo, and Madunio.
Music radio.
We've got all that, and you've got
WABC.
Whipping out free speech. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Back with the Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate it so. We'll take another call, and then we'll move on to a couple of other things this hour that have made me chuckle over the course of the previous week. I think let's go to Greg. What has Greg got here? Hey, Greg in Jersey? Where are you? Jersey?
Yeah, how are you doing?
Good,
long
man.
time, first time, since the 90s.
Quack, quack. Oh, thank you for the call. Quack, quack.
Back when the drummer first got one arm.
What do you got there, Greg?
So recently I heard a quote from Ilhan Omar where she was discussing how Somalia with a dictator was better than America now.
Yes.
And if you listen to it carefully, you can hear that she's almost doing a Christopher Walken impersonation. And I know how
She is
great
an
you are, though.
impersonation. She's a walking impersonation of somebody that should not be in charge of any city, town. She shouldn't be a dog catcher in this country. And somehow, through, again, a lot of DEI, a lot of these Democrat policies that have carved out these enclaves of immigrants that want nothing to do with the way this country works and its past ideology, principles, ethics, laws. They just came in, took over Minnesota, which is odd to me. It's cold, like the opposite of Somalia. Hot. You got like freezing cold Minnesota, and then they just they have no concept of what this country is, what it's about, what we as Americans want in a nation, and she's a mess. I can't stand that one. She's on the top of my list of people that just should not be governing.
And they only vote based off of, they're going to get what they want, and that's how it is, and they're going to have their own city or community, and
it's a foothold, right? You ever see how like a siege works or how battles work? You get a foothold, and you're able to reinforce that, and it gives you a, like a beachhead or anything that gives you an area where you can move people and equipment into without being attacked, and then you can spread out from there. It's so common and so obvious when you look at it in that respect of war and a siege and a battle,
that's what they've done in a lot of these places. They make these little enclaves of people that want nothing to do with acting like Americans in the United States, and then they're able to spread out. And then what do we have? We have a community up there that despises America, that's led by these people that have no loyalty to this country. They're loyal to the country that they left, that they said was so terrible. So it's all good.
Amazing. That's why the Minnesota Vikings will never win a Super Bowl.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Get them out of there.
You are the best.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Oh, I remember when I was governor, there weren't shenanigans like that going on. I don't have time to bleed. Remember the governor? No, that was Arnold in California. I was a governor, a fighter, a Navy SEAL. Thank you for your service. Ilhan Omar has no part of this country. What happened? We thought he was bad. Oh, my God. Some other things going on besides the big war. Vance, of course, Vice President Vance. This Alex Padilla guy, he got detained, momentarily detained for running headlong at the Secretary of Homeland Security without any identification on him. They pin him down, law enforcement, in the room like they absolutely should have, and escorted him out of the room as he continuously tried to make his way to the podium. And what he says he was attacked. All the politicians started, I gotta stop hitting this mic. All the politicians are like, this is terrible. This is Trump arresting and manhandling politicians on the opposing side. And it was just nonsense. This guy deserved everything he got and more. They really should have tuned him up a bit. Give him the old wood shampoo. But nothing. They let him go. It was nothing. And this guy got on the Senate floor and just started crying about it. And I was put down on my tummy. My tum hurt. This guy, he cried. So the latest thing now is Vance called him Jose. His name is Alex Padilla. And for some reason, Vance called him Jose. Now, I swear to you, listening to this clip, and believe me, I would say it if I thought it. It really seems like he didn't know this guy's name was Alex. Like he just thought Jose. Or Vance is a good actor, maybe. He really made me believe he thought this guy's name was Jose. But irregardless, let's listen to Vance calling Alex Padilla Jose.
Currently the president of the Senate where you serve. He also went to Yale. I assume that he knows your name is Alex Padilla. Your response to him calling you Jose?
Oh, he knows my name. He knows my name. Look, sadly, it's just an indicator of how petty and unserious this administration is. But he's the vice president of the United States. You think he'd take the situation in Los Angeles more seriously? You think maybe he'd take a moment to talk to some of the families who have been impacted, have been terrorized, to feel what's really going on the ground. I mean, you saw him shaking hands with Marines, but did he listen to the Marines? Because we have, the report after report of the Marines, so many of the Marines themselves that don't want to be there. That's not why they enlisted. Or if not the migrant families, how about the employers, who I know are speaking up because they're concerned about their workforce? We got a lot of
politically motivated. All right, we don't have to listen to his whole thing. But, that was Padilla's response. And he started getting, his voice started cracking. This guy's a crybaby, if I may be so bold and use such a harsh language. Crybaby. stick your head in gravy, wash it off with bubble gum, and send it to the Navy. Yeah, he got choked up again. This guy is not, I don't know, strong-willed. If you bust up about things like this, how are you fulfilling your obligation as a representative of the country when you burst into tears over nothing? Nothing. Okay, now we'll listen to Vance calling him Jose.
A lawmaker handcuffed. The New York Times just did a story. They keep getting handcuffed, suggesting that the Trump administration is cracking down on Democrats. Can you comment on that?
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. You know, I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater. These guys show up. They want to be captured on camera doing something. They want to be able to go back to their far left groups and to say, look, me, I stood up against border enforcement. I stood up against Donald Trump. When all they're really standing up for is for drug cartels to run rampant over our country and sex traffickers to be able to continue to traffic little kids into our country. That's what you're doing when you stand against border enforcement. So I think these guys, we ought to laugh them out of the building. We ought to call them out for doing what they're doing, which is grandstanding. And if they want to work seriously on border enforcement and on keeping their communities safe, the Trump administration's door is wide open. But they're not doing that. They love the grandstanding. They hate law enforcement because they hate the idea of the United States of America having a border. It's a disgrace, but it is what it is.
Yep. Absolutely. When a couple of these guys got a little publicity, when they were, they call it roughed up, it was the most gentle way they could handle people in that situation. Because quite frankly, Alex Jose Padilla should have been dragged out of there, maybe tased. I would have tased him. He kept approaching. He kept trying to get up and run toward the podium. That's the Secretary of Homeland Security up there. What are you thinking? Oh, I had it. My name was on my polo shirt under my jacket. Oh, they have X-ray vision now and can see through your jacket. They handled him with kid gloves. And when he still resisted, they did absolutely standard operating procedure. You're on your belly. Get him down on the ground. You have more control over someone when they are on the ground than you do when they are standing. And that situation, they looked at the situation and said, this guy needs to go onto the ground. They pushed me onto the ground. They handcuffed me. They wouldn't tell me where they were taking me. That's hilarious. He goes, where are you taking me? And they're like, no, we're getting you under control, idiot. We're taking you away from this situation. That's what law enforcement does. There'll be time to chat about this in a little bit. They always think, like, you didn't read me my rights. They have one cuff on you. You're resisting. They're trying to put the other cuff on, and you're worried about my rights. They didn't read me my rights. So many of these people you see, whether they're politicians or car window lawyers when they get pulled over, and it always ends in entertainment for me. A little window break, dragging out of the vehicle, some handcuffing, maybe the face pushed into the grass or the asphalt. And that's what this idiot, Alex Jose Padilla, deserved. Don't cry. Don't cry. Whoever told men that it was okay to cry was I can't use that word. I'll try to come up with a word I could use when I come back. The Anthony Cumia Show, back in a flash.
This is the Anthony Cumia Show.
Hello, this is Sean Katsumatidis. Advertising here on WABC is just common sense. Nielsen has said that
Yeah, I have the the 220, yellow and green, and then I have the yellow one, the 221. The only one I don't have is the black one on the 220. Of course, they sent me the two yellow ones. They sent me. I bought the green one from Amazon. So, yeah, I love those radios. They're great radios. They're great little radios. Yeah, they're nice little radios. Yeah. But I'm interested in the one that TV Radio 1972 has. I like that Redicus. That one has VHF. The Redicus. I'm gonna look into that one maybe. Well, maybe I'll pick that one up. That little Redicus. It's a nice little radio. Of course, I like also the. It's in the boiler room. The Ligiani little pocket radio. I made a short video on it. It's on my channel right now. That's a nice little radio too. Anyway,
the Anthony Cumia Show. Wussy. That's the word I'll use. I think you know the word I want to use. I think you know the word I should use for Alex Jose Padilla crying. Guy can't keep his eyes from getting all wet. Yeah. There was some time, I guess, 70s, 80s? Couldn't have been the 90s. Men were men in the 90s. Somehow, women, therapists, or whatever it is, convinced men it's a good idea to cry. Get your feelings out. It doesn't matter who's around. By the way, women love when men express themselves in front of the women and cry. Ha! Yeah, right. A woman will never get the image of you crying out of their head. It just will never happen. You could go out like something's happening and you run out. You got a saw on your arm, your machine gun rattling away at bad guys to save your girl. She's looking at you like Rambo. And she goes, yeah, but 8 years ago, you cried in front of me. You're just mowing down potential criminal rapists. They're going to murder you. And your girl's like, wow, I didn't think you had that in you. Why were you crying 8 years ago? So guys, don't buy the hype. Keep your tears to yourself. I'll allow you to cry for 5 minutes. Then back in the field. That's how they used to treat kids when they cried. I got a cramp in my leg once when I was a kid out in California with my old man, my dad. And it was terrible. Thigh cramp. I was probably 12 years old. And it tightened up. I straightened my leg out. It wouldn't go away. It was like I screamed. Wah! We were at some kind of a horse show thing. A bunch of cowboys were there. And there's Joey Cumia's son screaming like a little wussy. Yeah. Sounded a little like that. And my dad came over to me and he goes, I hear you scream like that again. You better have an arrow sticking out of your chest. And I'm like, it's like the 70s. Where are we? Little Bighorn? I always found that funny that he chose an analogy from the 1800s. Hey, your foot better be caught in a big bear trap. But, I remembered that. And that was that. So this Alex Padilla just weeping openly like this. I'm not for that, guys. Got to be honest. I'm not for a whimpering, crying guy. I caught my dad, Joey Cumia, crying once. It was devastating to me. He had come home, his Le Mans. He drove a Le Mans. It caught on fire. and the engine was on fire. So he tried to lift the hood and put the fire out, and his hands got all burned. So he came back home, and my mom was at the sink with him, putting cold water over his hands. And I peeked around into the kitchen to see what was up. And he turned around, and I saw like tears coming down his eyes. And he goes, "Get the F out of here!" Like he was mad that I saw him crying. And well, he should be, because it's now 2025, and I remember it vividly. That was it, the only time. He screwed up. He was at 100% never crying. And all I remember now is him crying over his little burnt Le Mans hands. How did I get on this tear? Anyway. New Yorkers, we love you. You know we do. I'm from New York originally, down here now in South Carolina. And it seems that your gracious, wonderful Governor Hochul thinks you guys don't need $50 million. $50 million, mere bag of shells, Norton. She wants to give it to not only just illegal aliens, to illegal alien lawyers, the lawyers for the illegal aliens. This should be a no-brainer. This is a complete deal breaker. She should not be the governor when she pulls a crap like this. Listen to this. This is her saying it, folks.
They're walking out of this courthouse, taken away from their families. They don't have the attention. They don't have the lawyers. And that's why the state of New York is providing $50 million to cover legal services for people who are finding themselves in this situation.
$50 million. Hello, I'm an illegal. I need a lawyer. I heard you have $50 million. I was very injured by ice. Oh, they hurt me. My glasses broke and my shoes fell off. Why the hell is New York giving illegal alien lawyers $50 million? I swear there isn't a single story that comes out of New York State that makes me regret leaving the state. Not a one. It's beyond me how the state has anyone living there anymore.
Exactly.
I talked to a lot of people. They're trying to leave. I know Rogan's trying to entice people to go to Austin, and there are a few New York comics in that collection of people. I think Legion of Skanks, those guys. Rogan's telling them, get your ass down here to Austin, Texas. It's tough to leave New York. For some reason, there's this impression that there's some value in being there. And I think there used to be. Before COVID even that recently, relatively speaking, there's like this misconception that a New York address or having a business in New York meant it was better than somewhere else, that your business was better than a business somewhere else. And then COVID came around. A lot of people were able to do their jobs from home, so the suburbs of New York. And then it became, well, if I could do it from the suburbs of New York, I could do it from another state. And then you check the pros and cons and go, why the hell am I even still in New York? So a lot of people are leaving. And I don't think Governor Hochul taking $50 million of your dollars and giving it to lawyers so they can represent people that should not be here in the first place. You could have had Lee Zeldin, Led Zeppelin, Lee Zeldin. You could have had him as your governor. I wonder if I would have stayed if Lee Zeldin was. We'll be back in a flash.
Dr. Howard D.C., founder of Balance of Nature and formulator of the fruits and veggies and fiber and spice supplements, has teamed up with veterinarian Dr. Jake to create.
Believe me, I am dying to leave. It's an ongoing thing with my wife and I. Oh my God. there's so many stupid people in the state. They keep voting for these stupid people. It boggles my mind. There's a primary. I have to go here on in a couple of days, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna vote all Republican, city council, everything. Even these small elections, I vote Republican. Doesn't matter. They got that shit rigged. Believe me. Believe me. I gotta go on what's it, Tuesday. Right here next door. I gotta vote for city council and a couple other local stuff. New York Senate. And I'm going there. I'm gonna vote all, I always vote all red, Republican, conservative, blah blah blah. Doesn't matter. They got the state rigged. It's rigged. Either it's rigged or there's a lot of stupid people in the state. That's my conclusion. Believe me. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you guys are gonna have a chance to win because people actually still think Cuomo's gonna do a good job. I mean, they don't remember what happened with the pandemic. Like they have short memory. So right now he's the front runner. So I hope Curtis Lewa does win, but it's a long shot. It's a long shot, believe me. Yeah, of course the harassment too. That's another thing. Believe me, Cuomo is. And I'm gonna say it one time. He's only doing this. He's only running for mayor because he wants to. He's gonna run for 2028. He wants to be. He wants to run for president. Believe me, I just said it here. I told that. I said it.
My good buddy Chris from Lindenhurst. Chris, what's up, man?
Yo, man, I love how every Sunday night I tune in praying for some kind of good news, some kind of uplifting story. But, I was going to talk about the United Nations, but why bother with that? You brought up Kathy Hochul in this godforsaken state that I'm stuck in, living in. The reason I can't leave this state, and I'm sure that there are other people who are kind of in the same boat. I have family here. It's all I've ever known. I have kids here, but the biggest thing is my job is here, and I've been looking for a job other places, Pennsylvania, the Carolinas, for 3 years at least. Haven't been able to find anything. And the money I make here on the island, I live on Long Island, is good, but the problem is that my kids, and a lot of kids their age, cannot afford to start a life here on Long Island or anywhere in New York.
Of course not. So I think it would be better because a lot of people, I know, Chris, a lot of people say, well, my kids. And I think that's just another way to not have to make that commitment to leaving. But you're doing them a favor. My sister, before I even moved down here, my sister moved just outside of Myrtle because she was disgusted with the way her son was being treated in school during COVID. And then she's like, moving down to South Carolina, I'm going to look into it. She looked and said, the schools are open down there? Like they're actually going to school, looking each other in the full face, not half a face with a mask on it, and said, of course, this is better for my kid. I don't know many people that can look at New York now and think, well, it's still better for my kids than leaving.
No.
I don't see it, Chris.
No, it's not. And like you mentioned before, if Zeldin got in, he wasn't going to change much in this state. The fact is that the real estate market in this state is completely out of control for anybody. Yeah. The average home prices are, $600,000-$700,000.
And for what? So you can live amongst MS-13 and the Latin Kings, and there's not one area of Long Island, New York anymore, honestly, that doesn't have an area. Like you go, oh yeah, no, this is great, Dix Hills. I live in Dix Hills, it's wonderful. And then you go, yeah, but don't go to Wine Dance, which is right over there across the tracks or something.
Right.
Like there's always a place. There's not one area that's just, oh, this is awesome. It's a great place, and you could run for miles and never see a bad place. So what's the attraction anymore to staying?
It's not. 30 years ago, when my parents moved from living in Queens, moved to Long Island. Long Island was suburbia.
Yeah.
They tell me all the time, we got the house. It was $100,000, and everything was all new, and it was all nice and quiet.
The Robert Moses Parkways kept them out of the beaches. I know, Chris.
But my kids are never going to be able to start a life here on their own. They can't afford it, and I know a lot of people who are in the same situation as me. Their kids are the same way. They're going to be living at home until they're 50 years old.
Yeah,
because you just can't do it. That's why I have to get out of this state.
You got
They
it.
have forced me to leave, and again, it's all I've ever known. Everything you kind of want is here. You got the beaches, you got the winter, you got the city, you got the sports teams. Fine, but I've had to throw all that away now and really put my family in front and say, this is what's going to be best for my family going forward. I have to.
Chris, there's a that great old saying, no matter where you go, there you are. It's always, you're still you. It's still your family. There are wonderful things. New York isn't this amazing place that has things that
anymore.
Nowhere else has. And, it would be better. And every single person I know that's left New York says, why the hell did I wait this long to do this?
Yeah.
All right, Chris. I got to move on, Chris. But
all right, remember the new expression of the night: mega, please.
Oh, the M.
Yes, the M.
I was getting scared there a second. All right, Chris. There it goes. It was an M. I swear. The make Iran great again. That South Carolina's own Lindsey Graham loves the saying. Ugh, it's so annoying. So I saw a couple of stories that looked like it could have been some Iranian sleeper cells, because now that's what we're hearing, which I think is ridiculous. I think there are people that want to do harm to Americans, and perhaps there are state-sponsored terrorists in this country. Who would know? Joe Biden let so many people in over the border unvetted that could absolutely have happened. But the idea that there's Iranians sitting around just with a phone next to them waiting, going, well, it is time now, you go do this, is kind of silly to me. A sleeper cell? So what are they working? They're on the SNAP welfare program? Do they have friends? If you're a sleeper cell, the idea of a sleeper cell, because you hear that in movies, because realistically, aside from 9/11, and I've heard so many people say, well, that's even debatable, a sleeper cell is someone that just fits in. They live their life as a person in whatever country they're in, and then when the time comes, they jump to action. So I don't know, but I don't think it's real. They just sit around, He's got neighbors. He goes over to cookouts and hangs out at a local pub. And then when the word comes in, he just turns all that off and goes on a shooting spree. But we're being told that sleeper cells could perhaps, come our way. So I hope that doesn't happen. But what I want to say about that is you got to take care of yourselves. You got to take care of yourselves. We saw today, I think it was, a church down in Wayne, Michigan. We're up in Wayne, Michigan. I guess it depends on where you are, Anthony. Person drove a pickup truck through the front of the building, the church, and opened fire on the parishioners there. Thank God. There was a security guard there that was armed and dispatched the villain, made quick work of him, and killed him. One person was injured. I believe it was a shot in the leg. You're to blame. But the good part is no one was killed in the church. The bad guy was killed because there was a person there that was armed, whose responsibility it was to look out for the people in that establishment. That works. That protection works. Taking people's ability to defend themselves away doesn't work. Having no gun zones doesn't work. Bad guys will go into no gun zones, knowing that they could probably do whatever they want without somebody shooting back at them. So when we're looking at a situation like this where the United States, again, is struck at a foreign nation that is known for terrorist events and their sponsorship of terrorism, we have to take care of ourselves. Many years ago, I think we really thought the government would do that. When we would be on the outs with some nation and had some kind of heads up that they were out gunning for us. You know, the American people are put in the crosshairs. If you see something, say something. Say something. What? By the time I get the words out, I'm dead. So you have to take care of yourself. This has always been kind of a sticky wicket with people. Carrying a concealed weapon. Anytime anyone says, Anthony, I'm thinking of getting a gun, what should I get? My first words out of my mouth are educated. Educated on every single thing that has to do with guns. The laws, how a gun works, what gun is suited for you. Your girl always, I love when you have to go with your girl to buy a gun. See if she can rack the thing. If it's an automatic, get her a revolver. If not, there are so many guns that girls like that they cannot pull the slide back. Their little tiny fingers with their little painted nails. But we are at a point in this country because of enemies, foreign and domestic, where you better damn well take care of you and yours. And with the stuff we've heard from Homeland Security and the FBI and all the rest, there could be some issues with what we've done over in Iran, and there might be people that want to do us harm. And if you're depending on a government agency, the police, anyone else to protect you or your family, you are selling the love of your family short, my friends. You need to protect yourself and use the best tools available to you. For me and a lot of people, it's a gun. Our God-given right as Americans shall not be infringed. Keep and bear. And it's really the only thing that will put you on equal footing with someone that means to do you harm. Now, obviously, if it's a missile or a bomb coming down on you, you could shoot at it. Fun last few minutes of life, seconds of life. But for the most part, it's going to be things like someone with a gun trying to kill people in a place, a soft target, as they call it. And the only thing that has ever stopped these events is somebody else shooting the bad guy. And then we have to listen to people saying that more gun laws are needed, or we need red flags, or this or that. And the evidence is there that when someone starts shooting innocent people, it stops when one of those people, or a security guard, or hopefully maybe even a cop, is on premises and doesn't react like they have in some circumstances where they run away. But that's the only thing that stops these dead in their tracks, is when a good person with a gun takes care of the bad person. And sometimes that good person isn't going to be a cop or a security guard. It might have to be you. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we live in dangerous times. But like I said, if you want to do that, I saw a movie the other day. There was a saying, with great power comes great responsibility. It was a guy in a red suit. And he jumped around a lot. He was able to climb up buildings. And that's true. That is absolutely true. You need to realize the unbelievable responsibility of owning and carrying a firearm with you at all times. While absolutely it can be the difference between life and death for you and your family, it can also be a prison sentence, your own death. If you're not using it properly, if you're not securing it around children, if you don't have the education to use it, and it's used against you. But an educated, knowledgeable citizen with a firearm, trained with a firearm, can thwart so much damage from people out there that mean to do you or your fellow parishioners, people in your community, school, do them harm. So, I am an unbelievably strong advocate of the Second Amendment. And when things like this happen, and as a nation, we are all being threatened by some outside force, nation, and there's talk of sleeper cells, and then there can just be fanatics. It doesn't have to be some organized thing. We've seen some Islamic terrorists that weren't connected to any actual governing body get pissed off and blow up citizens. Seen this happen in every Western nation. So the idea that someone is going to be there to save you is very naive. We need to take care of ourselves and each other. All right, let's see what we got here going on the phone. We'll take a quick call from Steve. Steve, Manhattan, what's up?
All right, Anthony, and
boy,
in the last 60 years, there have been thousands upon thousands of rapes in New York City. If those girls were carrying 22s with them, I would suggest that there would probably be less rapes in New York City. A
well-trained woman with a firearm can dispatch a rapist or someone that wants to do her harm very easily.
Right. Small fingers and big fingernails, I would say a 22, or the girls would walk around with a bow and arrow or something. And this is the 65 Immigration Act kicking out. You saw about Hopeful talking about millions of dollars for lawyers to tie up the courts with the invaders.
$50 million bucks out of New York for lawyers. Yep.
Right. Those lawyers probably contribute to our campaign. But I would like to tell people remember during COVID and even after COVID, people going into all those big pharmacies in New York City with shopping carts and robbing the heck out of those places. Those pharmacies in the last 10 years have been firing American workers and replacing them with invaders, with people from foreign countries. A lot of people, I remember a woman in Manhattan here, the pharmacy, she's an older woman, was such a nice lady, gone. They fired her. And these are American workers. These are our people. And when you're 50 years old and you have a family and you're married, or even if you're single, what are you supposed to go back to college? It's nonsense.
Yeah.
We know it.
And it can happen.
This guy, Zoran Mamambi.
The guy running for mayor of New York, the communist running for the mayor of New York. Yeah.
Mayor of New York City. Well, he comes out of Fidel Castro's buck-tooted granddaughter's congressional district, Cortez. I don't call her with the famous name if she's a he or she, or she identifies as anything.
All right.
And every And every person who's elected statewide or citywide in her congressional district is a flat-out communist. That is, again, the 65 Immigration Act kicking in, along with the illegal invasion. That's why people have to understand that even though people think the borders are secure, no, it's not. People are flying in every day with all different type of visas, and every day those visas are expiring, and they're in this country,
and they're still here.
Legally.
Yeah.
And I just want to know one thing: is Curtis Fleetwood now? It's going to be a four-way race because they have the working parties thing, and if there's a Bambi, whatever his name is, that communist clown, if he loses Tuesday, he's going to be on the working families party line,
which will break up the Democrats.
Nobody even works who votes for that party. And it's just working party.
The Workers' Party, no one works.
Right. Yeah. Let me ask you something. You're a smart guy. Is Curtis Fleetwood, is he campaigning in New York for mayor? I don't hear anything about him. Where is he?
That's just it. The media won't give him his due. He's out there every day. I swear to you, Steve, he's out there in the boroughs every day, shaking hands, talking to people, addressing the real issues of New York City. And no one wants to cover this because they're all propaganda for the left, for the commies. They're all sucking on Cuomo, if you know what I mean. That's what they're all doing. Cuomo's got this, I think, wrapped up, which is a shame because I think Curtis could be the same thing like Trump was. Throw a monkey wrench into the works. Let a guy who hasn't done this, that seems to know what the people kind of really need on a very street level, and let him see how he does instead of the disasters that have been in there for this long. Steve, thanks for the call. I got to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
All right, Doug. Good night. Thank you for watching. Ron Shedd. Yeah. ICOM R75. Yeah, that's a great receiver. It's a great radio. I wish I had the area to put a beverage antenna. I just don't have that much space. I have an end fed, 80 feet of wire, to a 64-to-1 on. That's what I use for my transceiver. It is a nice receiving antenna also. But I would love to have a beverage antenna for, medium work and all that. I just don't have enough space for it. Because that's more directional. Because for a beverage, you need at least, I'm going to say at least 200 feet to be effective. So I don't have that much space. I wish I did. Take care, Chester. And thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you next week, my friend. Yeah, it's about to wrap up in a few minutes.
Whipping out free speech. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
The Anthony Cumia Show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening. I do appreciate it. I couldn't finish off the night without playing a clip from our wonderful Representative Nadler. This guy he's a joke. Every time you see him, he's like a cartoon character. He doesn't seem real. He was giving a speech about ICE agents and and the fact that he doesn't understand, not even saying, I don't want ICE agents to wear masks because I want to see their face. I want the people that they are arresting to see their face. He actually doesn't know why. This is what he says. He doesn't even know why ICE agents wear masks. Well, Jerry, maybe it's for the same reason why your terrorist organization, Antifa, wears masks. Maybe that's it. They don't want to be doxxed. Oh, wait a minute. ICE is actually a legal law enforcement entity.
And they don't want to be doxxed by liberals who think they could just throw their name, image, family, house, address out there. And then, as we know, as we've seen from liberals, they will do harm. They love violence. The only reason they're mad about ICE agents wearing masks is because they want to dox them and hope harm comes to them. Let's listen to Lil Jerry Nadler talk about ICE agents wearing masks.
Well, these people are wearing masks and are totally unidentified. And the question is why? It's why. It's completely improper. And again, one has to assume they're hiding something, or they're hiding misbehavior, because otherwise, why would they be wearing masks and denying their identities?
Why? Well, they don't want their wife and kids to be beaten or shot when people find out what their names are and where they live. Liberal protesters, Democrats, the media, they're vultures that are just out there to do harm to people that are doing their jobs legally doing their jobs, cleaning up the disastrous mess that Joe Biden and company allowed to cross our borders and get into this country. You want to blame people for ICE? Imagine if Donald Trump was elected and went, what is this ICE thing? Oh, yeah, they're immigration and customs enforcement. What do? Well, they deport people that are here illegally, and they make sure people are here for the proper amount. Why do we need them? No one's crossed the border in years. Maybe we could cut back there. Where's Doge? No. It was an infestation, an invasion under Biden. So you want to blame anyone for ICE even being a thing? You blame Joe Biden and company for winging that border door open and allowing anyone that wanted to trot on through to come, and then dispersing them around the country by trains, planes, and automobiles to wherever, to make another one of these enclaves like in Minnesota. That's what they do, disperse them around. Let them sit there a while, then they'll run for office. And it's not America any. Speech was hilarious. I wish this was a visual medium, because Jerry Nadler was standing at a podium and the Great Seal of something was in front of him. The Great Seal of idiots was in front of him, and I swear you could not see. You could not see his face over the Great Seal. He's 2 feet tall. And then he had an accident. Remember that? He had a little accident in the Capitol, and he had to walk clenching his cheeks together. It's so embarrassing. The second any representative of this country becomes a complete embarrassment, they just need to be taken out. I don't mean that in a violent way. I just mean, just go away. Go retire. Go to your family that you profess to love, and just stay out of our business. You are detrimental in every way, shape, or form to the way we want to live our lives as Americans. You're just Budinskis, screwing everything up. Well, I hope you enjoyed that uplifting message. Hey, it's Anthony Cumia. We'll see you back here next week on the Anthony Cumia Show. Until then, have yourselves a great week, and tell your friends about us. Download the app. Send it to them.
This is New York's talk leader, the crown jewel of talk radio.
All right, there you go. And anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Have a great week. Stay cool. Don't strain yourself. Don't stress yourself. Whatever. Stay cool. Have a great week, everybody. I'll see you soon. Take care. Good night, everybody. Have a great week.